Hello, and welcome to the Bold Leadership Stories show, where we talk about the experiences shaping exceptional lives. And today I have the honor of speaking with Tracy Steffen.
Hi there.
Tracy Steffen, and Tracy is a leader who's right now, as you can see in the background of her picture, the 100 plus women who care of Temecula Valley, and
Yeah.
she's running the show with that, and we're going to talk about that today. But I wanted to kind of introduce Tracy a little bit. I've known her for a little while. Seen her, met her at a couple of events locally here in Temecula Valley. Very impressed. She's always dressed to the tens, and I'd love that. My girlfriend does that too. She's a Lisa Lurie, a professional ballerina, and she loves to wear the heels and look pretty. And so I appreciate that as a guy.
Well, you never know who you're going to meet that day, so it's always nice to be prepared.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. So you started, well, by the way, thank you for joining me on the show today.
Jim, I have to say, I'm so excited to hear that Hope is going to be interviewing you soon because having met you and knowing that I was going to be interviewed and watching many of your other interviews, I'm fascinated by you. I think you have an amazing demeanor and conversational quality, and you ask pointed, thought-provoking questions, but it's just casual and nice. So I can't wait to hear your background. Honestly, I'm looking forward to hearing what Hope brings out of you. Just gonna
Uh,
say,
well, thank you. Yeah, we had our second session this week,
nice.
and it's fun. It's different being on the other side of that
I'll bet.
and
I'll bet.
talking.
Mhm.
I love to listen, and so
Nice.
I'm honored that she's doing that.
I'll bet. Yeah.
So you started out your life, it says on your bio, you grew up as a tomboy.
I did.
7 siblings, big family.
Big
Where were
fan.
you at in the pecking order there?
Three above me.
3 above you. Okay. And how many boys, how many girls?
Um, actually, 4 and 4 is really it. I know I always have to stop and think of it. I have one deceased and then we had an adopted one for season, but
I'm sorry.
generally eight of us. So 4 boys, 4 girls.
Okay. Good
So,
even lot.
hmm
I grew up in a family, or not grew up, but I spent a summer it was an amazing summer in Idaho on a ranch with a family that had 10 kids.
Wow.
And it was, you remember that show, The Waltons on TV?
Yes.
Everybody, if you're over 40, you know that.
Mhm.
And every night they had this tradition. Every night they would say, good night,
Good
and
job.
everybody would say everybody's name. And that went all through the house. Well, this family did that.
How cute.
And I still know all their names. And my thing was, good night, Ron, Ray, Marianne, Dave, Tim, Joe, Bob, Frank, Linda, Mom, and Dad. That was,
Wow. And you can still say it.
I
That's
could
fun.
still say it. Yeah,
That's
it was amazing summer. It was really fun.
nice.
So, and you grew up roughhousing and playing pranks and kind of being a tomboy,
hmm
and then you went to you converted into this international beauty pageant
Oh,
winner.
yeah, that was just a month ago. That's crazy. I've never done anything like that before. It
Well,
was
that's an incredible story, and I'm excited to that you're here, that you can share how that happened.
Thank you.
Yeah. So tell us about that that time when you were at let's see, um, you decided at one time, it says that you decided that you wanted to you dress up pretty. So you wanted to get a job that was, that
Mhm.
was, that would allow you to do that.
Right, because I was riding a motorcycle to school. I was working in a warehouse after school. So it's, jeans and t-shirts and tennis shoes. And I thought, I want to dress up. I want a job where I can just look pretty and do something like that. So I thought, well, hostess at the time, every restaurant had a hostess. Not so much anymore, but I went to every restaurant from where I lived to Fullerton
Mhm.
and ended up getting hired in Fullerton at a restaurant. And from there,
And how old were you at that
I
time?
was 17.
That's okay. So, and that took some gumption. That was bold.
Yeah, that's true. It was for a 17-year-old.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you had this vision that you wanted to do this and you took the bull by the horn, so to speak. Now tell me, how did that tomboy part of you end up? Is it still there?
Yes, absolutely still there. In fact, my husband, we live on a ranch now, and
Okay.
he's always amazed that I actually do love to put on the boots and get in there and, feed the chickens and gather the eggs and help with the goats and the, babies being born. And so
Mm,
I love that part of life still, but I'd still rather get dressed up and go out on the town. So it's still in there though, for sure. And I
awesome.
have 4 babies, so I don't feel like you can be kind of a Miss Priss when you're, having babies and raising them. There's a toughness, I think, as a mom you have to have. So, yeah, I think that tomboy's still in there for sure.
Awesome. It's a nice balance.
Thank you.
So you tell us about that experience when you got your first job. You landed your first job as a hostess and then you ended up doing very well there. Tell
It
us
was
that story.
It was amazing. The gentleman that ran it saw some qualities in me that I really didn't know I had. So I started to hostess, learned waitressing, would fill in for the waitresses. It had a bar also attached to it. And being underage, I couldn't do much with that, but I could go in the back and write all the checks for the truckers. I could order all the food in the kitchen. He just started training me with those things. And then once I turned 18, I was allowed to serve alcohol with the food. So when I filled in for shifts, then it was easier on everybody that I could do both. But he taught me how to 10 key without looking at it. And my bookkeeping experience soared from there because he really taught me the numbers, what to look for. He even taught me on how to know when employees were stealing because lots of food would go out the back door, or we did happen to have one bartender who liked to get there early in the morning and sneak food out, meat, steaks, those kind of things. So inventory wise, number wise, if you see a difference there, somebody's taking it, and then you just pay attention. So he taught me that as well, and invaluable lessons from him for even life itself is what he taught me.
I'm thinking he probably didn't have a manual. He probably didn't have all of that documented.
Mm-mm.
But what was it in your soul, in your heart, that you found the interest in learning all that? And how did you communicate to him that you wanted to learn it?
I think I was in awe of him because it was actually his buddy that owned the restaurant. And he came in and worked for no charge for his buddy to get the restaurant back in shape. And I was
So that
fascinated.
was inspirational for you?
It was because I don't think at that time I ever knew anybody that would go to such lengths to help a friend and not be paid for it. I didn't know
Okay.
people like that existed. So I just offered just to do anything that he needed within the business. I actually ended up moving just a block away from that restaurant. And when my car didn't run, I would have to walk to work and walk back.
Mhm.
But I was wholly absorbed in the year or almost 2 that I worked there, just because I was learning so much, and he was so gracious in teaching me everything.
So how did that experience that you sounds like you just poured your heart into this and wasn't expecting a return
You
really,
know,
but your reward wasn't monetary necessarily, but sounds like you learned a lot.
so much so that later I bought a restaurant and owned it for 2 years. Because of that experience, I felt like I knew how to run a restaurant. And there's a lot, I didn't know, but that background gave me the ability and the confidence maybe to do that. So,
Yeah, that's awesome.
yeah.
So you you ran the restaurant and then you graduated high school, married, moved to Santa Ana, and then you started working for a chiropractor.
Right. The chiropractor who I was in an automobile accident with my sister when I was younger. So I had been going to this chiropractor for several years. And
Mhm.
one day I came in to get adjusted, and he said, I really could use a front office person. And so I said, oh, okay, I could probably do that. And so I think by then I had maybe one kid. And so I just started at the front desk and ended up learning everything about the chiropractic industry and ended up running and then when I moved from Santa Ana to Lake Elsinore, then I found another chiropractor to work for and
Hmm.
and actually worked for several in the Valley for a number of years. I loved that. I love the whole business with chiropractic and how you can really help somebody heal. So that was
Mm.
passion. Yeah.
So how would you characterize yourself in that role as a leader?
Characterize myself meaning
I see you as, at this point, you've graduated high school. Did you go to college?
no, I took some courses in business and music in college, but just 2 years.
Okay. All right. So you don't have a degree. So society would say, right?
Exactly.
You're a mom, but you took the bull by the horns with the chiropractic and fell in love with the idea of serving people and helping them heal,
Exactly.
and then learned the business so that the chiropractor could do what they do best while you took care of the back end.
Exactly.
Kind of a thankless job.
Well, not really, because you feel good when you see patients getting better. And we came up with a bonus system that rewarded me. So of course
So
there
how
were
did that work out? How did you get that going?
suggestions,
Uh-huh.
it, I
From you or from?
Yeah, actually with him it was from me. I thought it might help our employees. We just had a few, but I
Okay.
thought it might give them more incentive to actually come, show up on time and
Hmm.
do the things that we'd been asking them to do. And if we saw the numbers go up, maybe he could reward them that way. And so we put a plan in place for that. And reward has always worked, in my opinion, even just in building my giving circle. Going from 29 members and we're now at over 150. And several people have asked me how I do it. And honestly, women like rewards. We like to win a prize.
Well, guys do too.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm dealing with 150 women, but no, exactly. I mostly have dealt with women employees and now this group, but I definitely think men enjoy a prize and winning things too as well. But I think
Yeah.
there's more incentive with women. I don't know why.
Oh, hey, you got to follow your heart and what's working.
Yeah,
So I'm starting to see a trend here with you is that you have this passion for serving and you have this hard work ethic. I mean, you love to dig in and get things done.
I do.
So, and then you're taking leadership roles in positions with um, smaller companies, but very, very strong position to help the business. And that you learn the backbone of the company, the financing and the money side of it, as well as the human resource side, and then the operations side. And you're taking the bull by the horn. I love that with you because I could see you wrestling a bull,
Mhm.
even though you're wearing your heels.
Exactly.
So it's a wonderful inspiration to meet you and
Thank you.
learn this about you. And
Well, I think it is one thing that gave me enough confidence to change fields in kind of the middle of my life where I went to work for a dentist because
uh-huh.
same principles applied, but even more so. So I think maybe it gave me the confidence because I had already been learning the numbers and how they worked. And so applying that in the dental field was much more because in the dental field, the production schedule per day, we had to keep it at a certain amount. So like you have a major production item cancel, you're
Mhm.
trying to get a root canal, you're trying to get, something else that's production for that day, not just and you take every toothache because a toothache could turn into major production. So you're handling a schedule where you have a list of people to call as your backup if you've not filled it. So that was different than the chiropractic office. Chiropractic office, technically, if a patient didn't show or canceled, the chiropractor was, whew, okay, good. I
Yeah,
get a
I
break,
got a 5 minute
Yeah.
break.
But my dentist was like, who's going to fill this schedule? So it was good.
Yeah, it's a different way to organize and
Yeah,
keep things moving, keep the revenue coming in.
exactly.
Yeah, profitability. It's a big deal. So let's fast forward to your current life.
Okay.
And so now you've retired 20 years from massage therapy. We
Right.
missed that part.
Well, I went from the dental office back to chiropractic, um, and I was working. I just wanted to work. He wanted me to work 4 days a week. I said, if I can do what you need me to do in 2 days, can I work 2 days a week? And because at that time I was trying to slow down, and he said, sure. And so I did. I did 4 days worth of work in 2 days, and I was able to do other things in my life that I wanted at the time, but I got to work his 2 full days. But one day I was sitting there doing some
Now,
insurance billing.
did you get paid for 4 days to do
No,
2 days of work?
no, no, I didn't
Okay.
want to. I wanted to just work 2 days, but it was a good 2 days worth of money, meaning he was very fair with me.
Okay. All right.
So I was doing some insurance billing, and the massage therapist walked out of the room with one of her clients, and the client asked, how long did you have to go to school to be a massage therapist? And she said 100 hours. And I turned and looked at her, and I thought, I know what she makes back there, and I know how she gets tipped. 100 hours. And so I started
You got
saving
on
my
the 10 key and just
no, yeah, no, I did. And
that could
so
work.
yeah, so I saved my bonuses and I went to school. And my kids at the time, I remember saying, okay, I'm going to do this in a quick course, 100 hours quickly. So every night, every weekend, I'm going to be studying, I'm going to be working. You guys okay with that? And they all said they'd support me. And I honestly didn't know if I'd be any good at it. I really didn't know, but I thought I got to try this because this is just another extension of being able to help our patients feel better. So
Hmm.
I was in class, and at one day, I was actually trading with a lady who was in real estate. And at the time, real estate had tanked. So I think she decided to to go find a different path. So she had no touch in her fingers at all. When she did the same moves I was doing, and it was like, okay. And then I would trade with some others, and I realized not everybody has that touch. And I just hoped that I did. And
Hmm.
so I started to work on every single family member and every single friend as I went through class and getting their feedback. And because I didn't want to finish this course and not have that touch. And
Okay.
so what the very last day, the instructor came by, and I was working for my grade, and he said in my ear, it looks like you're making love to that body. And I said, that's how I want it to feel to them.
Hmm.
So I knew that I had the touch, and I knew I could build on that. And I had a wonderful career. And they say deep tissue massage therapists only last 10 years. And I did it for 20, and I have the, arthritis and the aches and pains to prove it. But I loved it and hated giving it up. But
Well,
it was an
well,
amazing career.
I've had two deep tissue massage experiences, and I had to say, Uncle,
Yeah.
it's amazing, but man, and I can imagine it's a lot of effort and wear and tear on your body to perform that, to give that away to people.
Yeah. But I loved it.
Yeah, well, that's fantastic. So uh, now you've taken on the 100 women, 100 plus women, now 150.
Yeah, we're over 150. We lose some and gain some every month, so it's kind of like a gym membership, I think. every time, every time I
Well,
add a few, I lose a few. So people come and go.
and how long have you been working with them,
Well,
with
I
that group?
joined this chapter in January of 2019 when it first opened. There's actually over 700 giving circles throughout the world. So there's, 100 men who care, 100 kids who care. There's all sorts.
Hmm.
But this chapter was started with 13 ladies in
Okay.
January
I'm
of
gonna
20.
bring up the screen here with that on in there
Okay.
so we can talk about it. You
Okay.
see that?
Yes, that's one of our pictures, but it's older. I'm gonna get a new one on April 19th.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, but yeah, so these 13 women were friends, and they started the chapter here and had, quite a few um, rules that in place. And one of them was no networking. And I always had a problem with that because I don't think you can get women together without just organically networking.
It's in
I
their
think it just
DNA.
happens.
They
I think
just
it is. It
they got to
is.
talk and chat
Mhm.
and share stuff and
Right.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, the very first meeting, walking into the barrel room of a winery and just seeing what I felt like was 100 powerful, giving women, I was just so in awe of it. And
Uh-huh.
so it went on for a couple of years. We gave over $10,000,
So
$11,000.
tell me how that works. Explain how
So,
the program works.
okay, so we just meet 4 times a year. We hear from 3 charities. We vote. And then the winning recipient, we all write our check for $100. So within an hour, we're giving them over $10,000.
Wow.
So it's called collective giving, and it's really for busy women, but women that want to give and see their little bit, go a long way. And
Mhm.
but they don't want to fundraise. They don't want to, they don't want to take the time that it usually takes to give somebody 10,000.
Right.
So it's been so much fun. I've learned from so many of our nonprofits in the Valley. It's been amazing.
And of course, each of the ladies who donate are doing it from the heart, but
Exactly.
they can also write that off as a donation,
Mhm.
correct?
That's right, because they give it directly to the charity. I'm just the middlewoman. So we're not a 501c3, so they write the checks directly to them, and then I get their tax receipts and give it to them.
Hmm.
That way, every single charity we hear from isn't soliciting them. We ask them not to. So
Right.
so I get the tax receipts and give it to our members, and then we try and continue to support the charities that we've heard from. I still support Michelle's Place and Wishers and
Hmm.
Dreamers and Milvet, and just
Yeah, we
try.
had Kim Garish on the show.
She's a doll. I saw
Yeah,
that in.
that was a really fun interview.
Yeah,
Amazing woman.
she is. She is absolutely amazing.
What other charities has your group helped?
Well, recently, Lily Kelly Ministries, Community Canines, um, Elroy Foster Closet, Milvet, Birth Choice, Jacob's House, one of my favorites. We're still supporting them every year. We
Hmm.
have they have their biggest fundraiser in Bear Creek in May, and we have a booth there, and we serve mimosas and little gifts, and we take pictures, and we're going to have a parasol and make all the guys, pose for it. And actually, we have a lot of fun. So that's how we support Jacob's House. But Hospice of the Valleys, of course, Michelle's Place, Foundation for Senior Care, goes all the way back to 2016. So, and they're all on our website. You can see them all.
Cool. So I'm gonna bring up your website.
Okay.
Hang on one second. So tell us about your website. What would be good
So,
to know about from there?
I think probably maybe the event, if you're just a guest checking us out, you can look at the homepage, and the events calendar as well, but then also the past recipients up there, that shows, you can click on that past recipients and see yes, and that was our very last one, Community Canines. So you'll see all the ones all the way since this chapter opened in 2016. They're all listed there. And I took it over in October of 2019. So, and we were down to 29 members. It actually moved a few times from a couple of wineries on a Wednesday down to a Sunday night at a coffee shop, and we lost half of our membership. And
Hmm.
so when they were going to close the doors, we were down to 29 members. And I told my friend Kathy, I love this. Please let me try and take it over. And she said, I'll talk to the board, Tracy. And she did. And she says, okay, but a few of us will stay, but not in an advisory capacity. So you're kind of on your own. So,
Hmm.
and then COVID hit, so I had to learn how to do a Zoom meeting,
Uh-huh.
I,
Yeah. Everybody knows how to use Zoom now.
yeah, I learned, and then went to the Alliance, and learned a little bit more about how I can run one and what is required and what I can do all on my own. So there's our 4 through the year that you can see, kind of
Yeah.
get a calendar. And then
So, okay.
for guests, I have a gift and a raffle ticket. So if you come as our guest, you get to have a meal with us and drinks. You get a raffle ticket towards a prize, and you also get a little gift. So I try and make it fun for our members to say, hey, come along with me. Even if you don't want to join, we get a nice meal out, away from the kids or that sort of thing. And then we get to hear from some wonderful charities, and you can go home, and we're all happy, whether they join or not. It's a nice evening. So
Uh,
yeah.
but that's wonderful. Where do you see that going in the future?
You know, I've been being asked that a lot lately, and I really, when I take my time in the morning and, write out my goals and think about that day and that week,
Hmm.
it's it's a good question because this group has never been 150 members. And so people say, well, where will you meet if you get over 200? And do you plan on getting 200, 300, that sort of thing? And I'm not so worried about that. The corporate room has been amazingly kind to us, and they just let us in there for their cleaning fee. And so they actually hold 150 people. And I would say we have about 70 to 80 members coming right now. Not everybody can come. Not everybody ever comes. I have a few members that just send their money in and never make a meeting. They're just supportive that way. We have Zoom where they could join with Zoom, where they could vote if they're on Zoom. So I don't see us having a problem with meeting at the corporate room until we're way over 200, because even if we moved all the tables and just had chairs, we still can get 150 in there. So I feel like I don't have to worry about that yet, but I was approached by a, a charity that I just vetted, and she loved the idea and wondered if what I thought about her starting a 100 Kids Who Care. And I said, not only would I support that, but I would be on your board. I would help you start it up, because right now, in trying to get the younger ones, maybe the teenagers and the 20 somethings, to start to participate, maybe 100 per quarter is too much for them. So we actually allow what's called team giving. So if you want to bring in a friend and the two of you, then it's $100 per quarter, but you're each only giving $50. You get one vote, but you get all the benefits of being in it. So I've been trying to get some of our younger people, like the Girl Scout troop that came one time to volunteer for us, and so those folks that can't really commit to 400 a year.
Mm.
So I would love to maybe branch off and help a younger team begin to give. And even if they just met twice a year, it would be amazing. They would be recruiting their schoolmates, which is amazing, and teach them to give young. They'll be given for the rest of their life. So I would love that. So I'm not worried about this group getting too big yet at all. Some have over 300 in their group. I would have to start talking to those ladies and see how they manage that. But for right now, I'm very content with where it's at, and I think we can handle it well into the 200s. So,
Wow. Well, you're moving right along and attracting great momentum
thank you.
with this. So I see perhaps that there's a leadership lesson in here. Where, how would you apply what you learned when you were in that first job you had when you were 17? And what did you learn from that that you're maybe still applying today?
Well, at first, when you wanted to interview me, I thought, well, I'm not a leader. I really didn't think I was. And when I started to write the bio, I realized where it came from, which is why I went back to when I was 17. But I really still feel like that 17-year-old that is a student of leadership. So I think
Mhm.
that when I was 17, this gentleman was a leader, and I wanted to be his student. I wanted to learn everything I could from him. When I went to the chiropractic office, there's my leader. I wanted to learn everything I could from him so I could do everything I could to support him. Same with the dental office. And then now with this, I feel like I've got a few people on our committee, and they're ladies that have these wonderful hearts, and they're giving their time and their energy and their monies towards helping us grow. And so maybe it's in learning what I need and then choosing those that can come alongside me and help me, to grow this. So I
Mhm.
think I'm still a student of leadership. I don't know so much that I'm a leader, but I certainly love to learn from others, and then whatever I can apply makes my life better. So
Well, from my view, I see a leader
thank
without a doubt. I mean,
you.
you're doing great work. And a leader to me is someone who steps out and is making a difference somehow, and keeping things moving, and being talented at that and skilled at it is not easy.
Yeah.
It's not easy at all. And you have to be dedicated, and you've got to be good enough for people to follow you. And to respond to, your vision.
That's
And
true.
the leader has that vision, and you obviously are doing an awesome job with keeping all that going and keeping the vision moving in the right direction.
Thank you. That's a good
And
perspective.
you're having fun. I
I
see that that's a critical part of it too, is just you're enjoying it and
am much.
involving your family and the community, and everything's open and fun and light and full of inspiration. So it's great to see that. In fact, I wanted to bring up your um, Facebook page, where I spotted a picture of you.
You see Hope and I chatting? Oh, there we go.
So
Good.
tell me about that experience.
Oh dear. Well, so, I got a little depressed with COVID. Um, Tried to, come back out of it, put on some weight, wasn't probably taking care of myself as like I should have. And so when I was vetting this charity, this lady happened to be on the board of the International California pageant in Long Beach. And
Okay.
so
So
she
for those who aren't watching this on a video or just
it's
audio, I'm seeing it's got a picture of Tracy up. She's a beauty queen
brown.
extraordinaire. Got the flowers and the sash, and
Mhm.
it's Miss Golden, Ms. Golden,
Yes, it's actually Miss Golden State.
Ms. Golden State, and
Golden
that's
State.
an international pageant, right?
Yeah, it is. Isn't that crazy?
And she looks absolutely stunning.
I know, and I do. I know you know Kimberly Davidson, so I have to tell you, I borrowed that dress from her, and I was so thankful.
Okay.
So I didn't have to go spend $500 or $1,000. It's a borrowed dress, and I was fortunate enough to fit into it. So I have her to thank for that.
Oh, very good. So tell me about the feeling. How did that feel you won the tournament, right? Or
Yeah, well,
the pageant?
yes and no. Actually, what happened was, so first of all, Haley said that she had been in the pageant 2 years prior, and she got to talk about her platform, which hers is his little feet. She puts brand new shoes on kids that have never had new shoes before.
Okay.
And I said, you get to talk about your platform? So of course I'm thinking, can I go talk to, about 100 women? And then she said, yeah, my best friend won last year. I'll put you in touch with her. So I didn't have to wear a bathing suit. So I said, okay, maybe I could do that. And plus it gave me 2 months to kind of, make sure I worked out every day, make sure I was eating good, just, pay attention to myself. It gave me a good goal. I think I just needed that on the calendar. So,
Hmm.
yeah, I got there, and I would absolutely never do it again, but it was such an amazing day and a great experience. And what happened is I really would normally be called first runner-up. But evidently this year they changed it to, if there's more than 5 women in my category, that they would add another crown. So Miss California actually won. But I was like the first runner-up, but because there was 6 of us, I won a crown as well, and I'm Miss Golden State. So I went as Miss Wildemar because I thought that would be fun hanging with Bridget Moore at some of her things going, I'm Miss Wildemar, because I had picked a name before I went. So I have that sash too. That's what I went with. But I think the best at first, I wasn't going to tell any of my family. I literally was just going to say, I'm going
How
down to San
come?
Diego, because it was almost embarrassing, at almost 62, I'm going to go to be in a beauty pageant. And it just seemed ridiculous. And I thought I'd just get laughed at. But at the
Kind
end,
of
I had
bold.
tickets. Yeah, I had to buy tickets. And I thought, well, my girls might be mad at me if I, tell them afterwards. And there's no tickets sold at the day. So I had to tell them. And when I told my granddaughter, she said, Nanny, you're going to be a princess? And oh, she just had my heart. And I said, well, for a day. And my plan was to say, yes, look what I did. I didn't win, but, Nanny's still trying to do new things, so that was going to be my speech. And then, I got crowned.
What a beautiful example to your kids and your grandkids, that
I think
it's
so.
okay to step out into the unknown.
Step out of your comfort zone for
There's
sure.
bold leadership right there.
Yeah, I don't know about that, but I was
That's the
pretty
best kind for
nervous,
your
but
family.
yeah. But I'll tell you what, I can dance up a storm because I used to entertain at senior communities. I would sing and dance and get them up dancing. And so
Mhm.
I have a lot of these shaker dresses because they love that. So I wore a shaker dress for my fun fashion, and I got the highest on that because I'm shaking it, in front of all the judges. So
All
that was
right.
cute. But you know what was the fun? The most fun was my interviews. I had 11 judges. We had
Hmm.
3 minutes with each judge. And that was my favorite part. Every single judge asked me
Really,
to.
usually that's like the most intimidating. You're like, well, what am I going to say? You got to
That's
be
what
on your feet in the flow and
exactly.
be able to just think on the fly and come up with something clever.
That's what
So,
I was most nervous of. But that's what it was so much fun because they asked such wonderful questions that if I were going to help with a pageant, I would say, please let me do the interviews. I loved them. And I can see why you like your job because I would have loved to have sat and interviewed all those ladies because
it
I
is
heard
fun.
practicing stuff in the back room, like what they were going to say. And I was like, I don't even know what they're going to ask. I don't even know what to practice, you
Right.
know? But one of the judges did say to me, okay, Tracy, I see all of your information. And I'm thinking, okay, what's he going to ask? And he said, I know this is an unorthodox question. And I go, uh-oh. And he said, but I see you worked at a dental office. He goes, how do you get people to come to a place that they hate, that they don't want to go? And so for 3 minutes, I told him, but what a great question. Off the board, nothing about the pageant, nothing about really about me or my life, but he obviously hated the dentist. So he wanted to know how people
Yeah.
live. So
Yeah.
that's what was fun about it. They all asked different stuff. So I liked that.
Well, that's fun. That's a good thing to know about Tracy.
Yeah, I want to start interviewing. I'm coming for your job, Jim.
All right, cool. I love it. Love
I'm going to sit
competition.
next to you and I'm going to help.
Well, I would definitely enjoy the help.
Thank you.
It would be an honor.
Thanks.
So our time is about up. It's gone super quick.
So
Thank you
fast.
so much for spending the time with me today on the show.
Thanks for
I've
having
got
me.
one more question. Have you got time for one more?
I do.
Okay, awesome. I ask this of everybody. It's looking at your whole life, everything. What's the boldest leadership decision that you made and what are the consequences?
I would probably say taking over this 100 women group because there were 13 ladies running it and I didn't have a clue about what they did until I took it over. I didn't know that one of those members was always paying for the venue, always paying for the food. It wasn't a 501c3. Um, I, I, in the beginning, felt like I was over my head. I had the passion to do it. I just didn't know if I'd be able to. And I think you see the results. So it's turned out wonderful. I mean, it might have gone the other way, but it didn't. And that's what I'm so thankful for and so blessed.
Well, it obviously was due to something, some things. The success just doesn't happen. What was it that, what would you say you brought to the table to make it happen, to bring it about?
Well, I kind of stuck to my guns on a couple of things and I was told that they probably wouldn't work. So maybe it was
Okay.
that I stuck to my guns. And one of it, so a little story, I was giving my daughter-in-law a baby shower a few years back. And a lot of these ladies were from La Cresta, they had money, their families had money.
Hmm.
But three of them cheated on my games just to get the prize. Now, that might not be the greatest story to share, but it tells you again how I feel like women, they love to win something and
Right.
to go to that lengths. And I mean, I didn't have the very best gifts or prizes, but I had some. So that coupled with the fact that I was in the group for 2 years and never once brought a friend or told anybody about it. And I don't know why I didn't. I loved what I did. I didn't have a lot of friends. I was trying to make new friends in the Valley. But I'd never thought to ask anybody until they sent out an email because membership was dwindling. They sent out an email and they said, one of our members has a basket of hair products and she's going to raffle that off tonight. So if you bring a guest, you'll get a ticket towards that. So I said, hey, daughter, and hey, friend from my bunco group, come with me. Just have a cup of coffee with me. I'll get a raffle ticket for, and maybe I'll win something. Well, I didn't need hair products and I certainly didn't win, but both of those ladies joined. My daughter joined and the lady joined. So
Okay.
I put those two stories together and thought, what made me invite people? And I honestly tell you, we've got meals there, drinks for them. We've got a prize for their guest. And people said, because that was all coming out of my own pocket in the beginning, and they said, don't do that, Tracy. It's not that big a deal. Nobody cares about a raffle prize. And I just stuck to my guns on it because with those two examples, I realized it was important to some ladies, or at least made them think, what do I do to try and win? And us now, many of my members, they donate a raffle prize. So I get a raffle prize here and here and there, and it's not coming out of my pocket anymore. And it's just continuing. And people love to give a raffle prize, especially if they have a business and they can throw in their business cards and a few swag with it. And so that's worked out great. So I really think that's what helped to, to help it grow. So I don't know.
Well,
That's my idea though.
no, there's bold leadership. Great story. Thank you for sharing that.
Thank
That's
you.
wonderful success happening here in Temecula Valley. And, and I'm very excited to see how you grow and all the charities that you're helping in the Valley to do what they do. So it's
Thanks.
an honor to have you on the show today. Thank you for joining me.
It's been an honor to be here. Thank you so much.
Yeah, we'll see you soon.
Okay. Bye, Jim.